the guy that's getting replaced is the guy that's getting replaced is Stringer. The guy that's that went to Microsoft is in charge of the Sony Europe or Sony Computer Entertainment Europe, whatever the hell it was.
Oh yeah, and he screwed that up pretty badly.
Phil Harrison.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to do some formal podcast announcements because I'm about ready to start. So, Rusty, you want to just do the podcast intro?
Are you recording now, or?
I'm going to do right now.
Doesn't World of Warcraft already have apps?
Okay,
Yeah, that was a start fail. Hold on, let me decide this.
He's gonna do that every time you...
Yeah, but we're trying to do the intro to the podcast on top of the video recording too, so... So we gotta do the intro for the podcast.
I was just reading what's on this thing. It's this thing on World of Warcraft.
Hold on.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, we are trying to do something new. We're trying to actually do a podcast this time, and I'm sure it's going to fail horribly in the beach balls of death, but in the hopes that it doesn't, and we actually get a video recording over here too that doesn't glitch, we'll figure out where the devil to distribute that. So, okay, I guess this...
I think everybody should introduce themselves.
Yeah, you know, what the heck are we calling me? The show that sucks or Rusty?
The host is Rusty, so say hello, Rusty.
Co-host.
I'm Mr. Bitter, known as Marcel, and then the other two guys, Bob, decided.
Yes, Bob comes from the net and hates Windows fanboys.
He's known as Mr. Mox.
I got nothing to say. I'll get into you with your Windows 8 thing and all
And,
this idea is just remaining silent.
I call him Captain Video Game. Say something.
I know about Apple too.
Okay.
Alright. So where are we at?
Well, you were wanting to start with Blizzard this?
Activision, I think he means the Activision Blizzard considers more to boost World of Warcraft subscribers.
They have 2 apps already.
No, they mean the actual game.
Yeah, like you will be able to play WoW on your iPhone.
Okay, the actual game is right now 4 gigs. So that ain't gonna happen.
Well, but didn't the Android Marketplace just up the limit to 4 gigs?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? And now there's another update. I think it's called Miss Pandora. It's gonna raise it to 5 gigs.
Okay, so you'll download 4 gig and then you'll download the update. That's 2 4 gig apps.
Gee, sounds like smartphones are becoming more and more like computers.
Yeah, but think about how much that would cost on the bandwidth cap. That's going to make WoW $50 plus the price.
Oh. Dude, it's already a bitch to just download World of Warcraft full right now.
Can you imagine, your phone dies in the middle of downloading that, so the moment you boot it up, it resumes downloading and charges you more money?
Mr. Bentley show notes.
Oh, yeah. Craig. Well, you see, this is his fault, because if I send him to him ahead of time, he can't find it, and he can't find his email. So, it's,
That's not, I don't know. There's something fishy about all that.
Yeah, no, I've given up adding him ahead of time like I do everybody else, because he's like, add me again. It's like, okay. But now...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just trying to keep there from being audio breaks. Since we're doing podcasts, we can't have our moments. We always have moments, but we have to talk now. There will be no umming.
About this whole Netflix?
What about it?
Why Netflix's Facebook app would be illegal?
Yeah, that's weird. Basically, in the 1980s, Yes, we are in the 80s 2.0 truly, because the 1980s.
Yeah, we are in the 80s 2.0, especially now that Total Recall is being made.
Yeah. We're rebooting the 80s, and the 1980s are deciding what laws apply in the 80s. Basically, in the 1980s, somebody went to a video rental store and was able to convince somebody, some stupid clerk, to give away someone's rental history. So, people went before the Supreme Court and argued, you can't do that, that's privacy violations. So there's a ruling on the books and a law that was pushed through Congress and coincided and everything else that basically says you can't do this, it's a crime. And because how Facebook works, if there's a Netflix app through Facebook and the metrics would get shared, the rental history and the videos you view through Netflix would get shared with the Facebook metrics. It would be in violation of this 1980s law.
Okay, then wouldn't Boxy violate that because it gives them what your friends view?
But that's different, because Boxy is a media service. Why Facebook would be looked up on like the video store. You see, it's one of those. Yes, it's the exact same thing, but once again, the law has not caught up to the lovely sea of new technology. So that's yeah.
And yet again, we're 30 years too late.
Yeah, doesn't that make you feel just nice?
It's great knowing we have technology laws that are based off of when I was born. That's awesome.
But you know what's really bad? I mean, that's like the law where, the cops in California were saying if you're
born in the 70s.
Yeah, I mean, you have cops saying, recording them, and they're quoting like wiretapping laws and regulations. It's like, again, you know what? If we go by the laws of the 70s and the 80s that were made to deal with technology, I guarantee you almost every frickin' thing we do is illegal. We're all criminals. It's like the wire.
So what else is new?
Well, continuing in the same stupid note, Congress and everybody else is going privacy mad. I mean, they're trying to take a second look at the privacy Bill of Rights and stuff.
By the way, I still don't have the nuts.
You still... How many times okay, I added you.
I think now it shows up.
Ask and ye shall receive.
I blame it on Google Docs.
Yes, I do too. I blame it on the fact that he linked it to a Google account, which he's now closed, which is probably creating delays.
Man, Netflix is on everything.
Except Facebook.
Yeah, well, so much for Facebook. But then again, Netflix has recently announced that they're going to be on the PS Vita and the Nintendo 3DS.
I honestly think that's Netflix's business model, to become the de facto standard everywhere, so they can't be killed or go away. Because
here's an idea. How about they go to desktop Linux, even though it's 1% of the market share, according to them?
No, didn't you hear? They announced that they're actually building support for that now.
Yep.
Yeah, they said in 2012. Then they come out later in the year saying, "Oh, no support for Linux this year."
Yeah, but they're not dropping it. They're just saying it's going to take us a little longer than we thought to compile that app to make sure it works everywhere. They are still pursuing it. They do.
I know. And their rival Hulu's doing the same thing now too.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be on the 3DS and PS Vita and Linux.
Yeah, well, and
They're going to be on everything.
Well, and the fact that they're all running to support Linux means they get that this is the, this is where media is going, and they better be, and whoever doesn't go everywhere is going to lose. You have to be the agnostic that goes everywhere thing. Otherwise, you open the door for anybody else to come in and go, "Hi, have you been rejected by de facto Hub I? We don't reject you, and we have all the same content." Put them out of business. Oh, and did we mention we're 10% less? They know that if they allow that to happen, they're dead. Anyways, getting back into the continuing with the privacy strain, because Bid asked what else was new. What do y'all think about the fact that they're pushing for basically an equivalent to the Fair Credit Reporting Act for privacy and data mining?
Actually, my statement about what else is new is when you had said, well, we're all criminals. So I was being funny. It was supposed to have been funny.
No. It was, what's wrong with being a criminal?
I see it went over well yet again. All right, so so what are you talking about? Some credit what now?
It's not, well, basically, the idea there is, like the Fair Credit Reporting Act gives you access to creates a set of laws that say, hi, you have a right to have access to the information that's being presented to you in terms of credit. This is what they're trying to put together is an equivalent set of laws that will govern your ID profile. So with all the data mining and stuff that everybody's doing on you, from Facebook to Google to SOT, they're basically saying, hi, these if these laws go through, it's going to say these records have to be available on demand for you to critique and audit and verify accuracy. I have very mixed feelings about that. I mean, on the one hand, we need it. On the other hand, we're going to create the same thing we did with the credit profiles. A few centralized hubs, which make it even easier than it is now to get this information on people. So, I don't know where y'all stand on that. Good, bad, are legislators trying to get elected?
The latter.
This?
What?
Bob, this? Either one of you have anything to say on that?
I'm gonna wait to see how badly they screw it up.
I'm honestly wondering if it isn't going to be one of those things like it's done with the best of intentions, like the regulations that say you have to give that you have to put identifying information in your mailbox for people to go steal. I mean, I kind of laugh at the fact that the two best friends for ID theft are the United States government and the United States government regulations. I just kind of have to laugh at that. I'm like, and if they continue in that strain, this is just going to be a whole new little harvester field for screwing with people's lives.
Well, yeah, Hulu's already on Facebook.
Yeah, and I wonder how Hulu gets away with that without Netflix. Because Netflix can't because they'll be in violation, but Hulu somehow, I guess because Hulu isn't looked upon as a rental service.
Yeah, Google's got their own rental service now. They got that Play thing. If you guys know the top of your Google search bars.
Yeah, I saw that Google had added the Play thing up there. I don't think it's gonna make it succeed. It's just, I don't know. Oh, look, the senators are after Facebook. And you know what? I swear, we're in an election year. Senators are after Facebook, the FTC's after SOT, and now we have all the other crap. Oh no! Who the hell's typing this?
Well, at least you got your porn.
Yeah, which one?
No. For those of you who are wondering what's going on, our Windows fanboy, who has been anti-Angry Birds for as long as we can remember, apparently has played Angry Birds, but has declared that it sucks.
Yeah, I don't understand what the phenomenon. And even my kids don't really like it. I bought it and I said, okay, here it is. Because remember, on the other show, I had said that my mother-in-law came back from Guatemala with these Angry Bird toys. I was like, oh crap. So I actually, okay, here's the game, and I loved it. My oldest son says, yeah, my toys are more fun. So I was just so.
If you're asking me to explain it, I don't know, because apparently it's supposed to be like difficult or hard or like so, but yeah.
I don't know what is so fascinating. I guess you pull it back on the slingshot with your oh so lovely touch device, and it flings the damn bird at whatever the hell it is. It breaks it.
Yeah.
Kills something.
Different birds do things and
wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, it's just I call it another flavor of the month or flavor of the year. I mean, before that it was Plants vs. Zombies.
And before that it was Pokemon.
Oh, yeah. Angry Birds reminds me of that old cannon or tank game back in the old days. You used to play them on the Apple II, and it would be like sitting on the hill, and you had to hit the castle, and you do elevation and velocity.
That has been made fun of by more things.
It's exactly what the hell Angry Birds
I know that.
exactly what it is.
I just don't know. I can't remember what the game's name was.
Oh god, I think it was in an episode of Reboot.
Well, there was a game that came out not that long ago called Crush the Castle, which was pretty much the same thing. But what makes Crush the Castle so interesting is that it came out before Angry Birds.
Yet somehow Angry Birds is the thing that is everywhere.
T-shirts, for crying out loud.
No, the Easter aisle in the stupid Wally World down here. I walk in there, and apparently kids are having Angry Bird and Piggy plushies for Easter, and I'm like, oh.
Do they actually know what it is, or does it's just become a cool?
Well, it's dying out now because of that new game called Angry Birds in Space.
So what? Now we're gonna have birds in astronaut suits?
No, in superhero costumes, actually.
Oh, no. Here we go.
Yeah.
I can see it now. We're gonna have in the game called like Angry Bird Zero G or something. So we're gonna have floating Angry Birds in all the stores now.
They already have ones that float.
Oh no!
They just put a new one out called Angry Birds Space.
That's what I said, Angry Birds in Space.
Yeah. No, but what I mean is because you go into the stores everywhere and there's the little Angry Bird plushies everywhere. So it's like, what is the display now going to be? Hoverbirds? You know, they're just floating around. You're gonna walk in the store and then 5 birds are gonna float around you now. I don't know. It's just.
So does that mean we can slingshot them at all the people we don't? I mean, never mind.
Okay, getting into something that is at least of substance, because none of us comprehend Angry Birds. I've played it, I've beaten it, and I still don't get it.
You've beaten it? Wow.
Well, I got all the golden eggs, and I did all the rounds.
Oh my gosh, see now, so it's like shit from Facebook. With golden eggs is now appearing in Angry Birds, is what you're telling me?
I don't know what the golden eggs mean.
With golden eggs. It's all over the place now. We've got them on Facebook, and now you're telling me on Angry Birds where there are golden eggs in these, what is it, the zombie games too?
Oh, it actually started with most games that start on Xbox where you had
Easter eggs.
Yeah, so then, yeah, it's like, I think that's what it's about. It's like, hi, these are your Easter eggs. Yeah. Okay. In our new category.
What?
What?
What? Bob had something to say and he cut himself short.
Go ahead, Bob.
No, just go to the next topic.
No, you said it now. Go.
You started.
Oh my god. I was just gonna say we're gonna move on because none of us care about really Angry Birds.
Right.
Well said.
Alright.
Popular for now. Give it a couple of years, it'll fade out.
Well, they all fade out. Anyways, moving on to something else that will hopefully fade out: TV and game platforms. I have mixed feelings about this crap. Apparently, Comcast people cannot make use of HBO Go, and I don't know how to feel about that because in my opinion, HBO Go as a whole is a failure because you have to still buy HBO from the cable and satellite companies to get HBO Go. And the whole point of these on-demand devices or putting it on your Xbox or whatever is screw the cable and satellite company. I don't need you. You're a glorified middleman.
Yeah. HBO goes out on the iOS, by the way, and I think Android.
It's everywhere, like Netflix. It's like the Xbox is just the latest place for it to go. I mean, it's on the...
But you have to be a subscriber to get it, correct?
What it is you have to have gotten HBO through a supported television distributor. And then that distributor has to allow you to participate in HBO Go.
Yeah, CNN has a app that has a streaming part of it, but in order to get the streaming part, you have to have the same exact thing.
Yeah, and I'm like, guys, you're completely missing the point. The whole point here is you can sell it to us and keep the money for yourself. You don't have to go through them. You're missing the... I mean, you should be able to go to like HBO.com or whatever the heck it is for HBO and go, yeah, I don't have any TV, but I want to give y'all $5.95 a month or $9.95 or whatever the hell it is, because I just want y'all. I like your shit.
I don't know why they hold on to these cable companies, because even Hulu does the same thing. I mean, if you want to catch the latest episode of Fringe, you know, you have to have a DirecTV code.
No, I don't. I have Hulu Plus on my...
Oh, wait, no, I meant if you want to catch the show before it airs on television.
Oh, I don't care about before it airs. And honestly, if they want to put that like 48-hour delay or week delay or whatever in there, that's fine. You know, it's the same thing they used to do, they've done for years. It's like, okay, the movie's out in the theater. Go run to the movie theater. Okay, the movie's out on pay-per-view. Okay, you know, it's like, eventually it comes out.
But what I'm saying is that if you want to catch it a week before, you have to have a DirecTV code from your DirecTV, and it's like, why? Ain't I paying for this?
I don't know. That doesn't make any sense, especially with the week before thing. I mean, that's...
I know, kind of stupid.
Well, then who's gonna do that? I mean, I'm sorry. The reality is this stuff is replacing TV, and the people who don't get on board with that are going to become obsolete. I mean, I got rid of my TV, and it's really why I don't have everything I had. I found, the things that aren't cooperating with me getting rid of my TV, I don't care about anymore. Because they're not in the medium I'm using. You know, they're fighting me. Okay, fine. Screw you.
Well, I didn't really get rid of my TV. I just have my Nintendo Wii, and I don't have cable hooked up to it.
Well,
I can just watch Netflix or Hulu on there. So
no, that's what I mean, though. That's the thing. I would gladly buy HBO Go, but I am not going to spend the $100 plus to then give HBO $5. I would gladly give HBO $10 to not give somebody else $100 to be allowed to give HBO $5. You know what I mean? It's that math that they don't get. They're like, well, we only cost $5. No, you cost $105.
I mean, I agree. I mean, HBO and Cinemax and all of them are starting to become less and less, more and more obsolete.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is like their last ditch to save themselves, because if they wait to get on board with cutting out the middlemen and putting their content that is purely theirs, that they produce, like the shows they produce and like the Borgias or the things like that, if they wait until the point that they're forced to, by then, they're all out of business. They need to do it now while we're still kind of dependent on them. Otherwise, they've just sown the seeds for their obsolescence.
I mean, Yeah, there are other devices that aren't gaming devices. You can watch it.
Well, yeah, like we said, all of them pretty much. But the problem is that you have to already have that you have to buy them through the traditional means to get them on the non-traditional means, which is increasingly less. I mean, you complained about this bit, the fact that you have how many channels and how many of them do you actually watch?
Exactly, absolutely. I mean, it's ridiculous. I think the amount that we have to basically pay and cover whatever package you get, right? They say 300 channels, blah blah blah. You're probably gonna use 7 or 10 or whatever. So I think it's just useless. And these main stations, do they not subsidize these other offshoot channels and things like that, or?
Well, I don't know how that actually works. I've always wondered that why, like, even if you're buying from the cable company, why you can't go, yeah, I don't want basic cable, I just want HBO, or I just want Showtime, or I just want whatever. No, sir, first you have to get our basic package, then you have to get our extended basic, then our super basic, and then you can add movie channels. Like,
right.
Give yourself $1 million.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm getting at with this whole covering thing, is that we need to, we want to push some sort of channel, which I have in the past done some research where obviously they're, I guess you call them daughter channels or whatever, but if you don't want them, why are we needing to pay for these packages, I guess, to subsidize these types of channels? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to anybody else lately now that we can stream all this shit.
No, that's the thing. It's the other thing that I laugh at is more and more of the cable companies, and I think DirecTV is doing it now too, but I haven't had DirecTV in a long time, but I heard they were doing this, is they're starting to embrace the idea of on-demand. I say starting because what they do is they tease you by putting the, like, 5 shows up of the dozen you want to watch, and it's only 2 episodes, and then I go on Netflix or Hulu, and for the most part, I have every frickin' episode. So it's like, okay, so you don't even get that right. You know, it's...
You know what the really funny part is? On Netflix, if you look for HBO or Showtime shows, you'll find them on there. It's last season's shows, but there they are.
Yeah, because the DVDs have been released, which Netflix has access to and Netflix has streaming to. Now that's created a conflict rub, because for the longest time, Starz was giving the content they had access to Netflix, and Disney cried bloody murder. Which is why, if people who have Netflix, if you noticed, all the Disney stuff is gone. It's because Disney never gave it to Netflix. They gave it to Starz, who turned around and gave it to Netflix.
Because Disney didn't like the amount of money they were getting. They were only getting $30 million from stupid crap.
You know what? If Disney doesn't like that, Disney needs to make their own digital on-demand channel, host it, and distribute it.
I was going to say, we're getting to the point now where it's starting to become a la carte.
Yeah.
Pick what you want, pay what the price per admission is. There you go.
Well, and I can accept that it isn't going to be under one hub. You're going to have... I look at Netflix and Hulu as the equivalent of basic cable. They're your hubs that have the majority of stuff, but not everything. I can see certain content, like the BBC, certain aspects of the Canadian broadcast, I want to say channel or corporation or whatever the hell it is. Canada's equivalent of the BBC. Certain... things, maybe Disney will become a premium account again. Way back in the day, they used to be a premium channel. And HBO and Show could maybe maintain that status for their shows they do. Not for the movies, but they could maintain it for the shows they do. But it's got to be like a reasonable add-on price, like a few dollars a month or something, where instead of your bill being the $25 a month it is to get Netflix and Hulu combined. It's like, okay, I want a premium account, so I'm going to spend an extra $2 to $5 on them, and now I'm spending $30 a month. Not I have to spend $100 for the permission to give you $5 to $10. It isn't going to fly. It'll just be, okay, fine. I don't care how good your content is. It's not worth $120.
I just want a la carte thing, like we're discussing the shows. We can never get to that.
We're almost there if people will just stop trying to prop up the old cable model. It's really the few people trying to do that, kicking and screaming, who are the only reason we're not there right now.
Well,
we can stream any movie now through almost any device at will, in almost any location right now. Almost, because there are still areas where dial-up is still...
You know what? I know when we'll be there. We will be there when I can watch my Babylon 5.
Isn't that on Netflix?
No.
Yes, I thought it was. It used to be.
I was going to say, I think it is right now.
But it's not streaming.
What? I could have sworn that Babylon 5 was on the direct demand, whatever, blah blah.
Its rival back in the day, which also was very pretty.
I've looked for it a few times. I haven't seen it.
I mean, it could have been taken off. Look, Netflix has had things on as digital and then taken them off, as digital. So yes, it is off now. I went and checked. But
yeah, I'm gonna say I looked for that the other day. Don't toy with me.
But it was at one time. It was at one time.
Yeah, well, it isn't now.
Well, what I was saying was that its rival show, even though it fared pretty well, Babylon 5 turned out to be better when Star Trek Deep Space Nine is still up there.
Oh no, all the Star Trek's still on there.
Which is nice. I like that.
And Deep Space Nine was the best of them all.
That's a really good show. But I'm partial to Enterprise though.
Yeah.
Killed the franchise.
Yeah, and you missed it. This I don't know if you ever watched the video. I'm still surprised YouTube hasn't taken it down, but yeah, it's I said. Well, I like the plot of Enterprise, I like all the stuff, but I'm sorry. I will forever, every time I see Scott Bakula in anything, I'm just going to go, and he stepped into the quantum leap accelerator.
Oh, Christ.
I'm sorry. That's just what I think of when I see Scott Bakula. I can't think of anything else.
They're supposed to be making a movie of it.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean... Look, I like Enterprise because it was a Star Trek without the damned Federation. It just seems to me that Star Trek became more and more politically correct. It drove me crazy. And I liked a sci-fi world based in a Star Trek universe where you could have some real ethical questions, which I think were really brought up in that show. They did have some of that, but I think the Next Generation had too much of it. Voyager was off and on, but it was nice to be able to see. All right, here's a crew that really has no guidelines whatsoever, and really the only authoritative entity or body is the Vulcans, which I found interesting.
Which they enjoy fucking with.
Yeah, they were in conflict. But I just enjoyed that whole different realm, and it was nice to see that the Vulcans actually have a quasi civil war.
Yes, Vulcans don't mind them.
Yeah, I mean it was kind of interesting. I really liked and appreciated Enterprise. I also liked a ship that wasn't just they could get the ship kicked out of it. And yet found interesting ways to try to escape.
That was really the only good... This is one of the reasons I always liked the Klingon Birds of Prey, because it's It's a little 12-man ship that is minimal and really can't hang in a fight, but somehow it's badass. It's
well, it's heavily armed, and from what we've learned, also in Enterprise, the earlier versions were heavily armored.
Yeah. I think those were actually raptors. They called them vertebrates. That's like weird. That's a little inconsistency there, but who cares? But I don't know. It's to trek or not to trek. That is the question. But well, always Babylon 5.
I'm just gonna say the best Star Trek series still would be the original and Deep Space Nine.
No, I'm always going to have a fond place for the original, but I went back and looked back and I realized it's only 3 years long. I mean, it's the shortest of all the series, and it's just...
no, Enterprise is now.
No!
No, Enterprise is 4.
Enterprise was 4 years. The original Star Trek was only 3, and they didn't really even finish the 3rd year.
Well, that's because UPN finally quit, was closing its doors back then.
Yeah, I have always wondered what would have happened to Star Trek if Gene Roddenberry had had the money. Because when Paramount killed Star Trek, way back, before its revival, before...
Hey, I'm stopping the podcast real quick because it's like too much Star Trek. But anyway.
Hey!
All right, I also wanted to test the audio.
Well, let's see. Well, we've already seen Gene Roddenberry's full Star Trek, the motion picture, which bombed.
No, that's not what I mean.
But that was all Roddenberry, by the way, behind the original Star Trek. Nobody liked it.
Well, that's what I was going to get at, but Bit stopped the recording, so I won't. Is the audio working, Bit?
Hold on. It's just like, God, we got recorded a shitload of audio. Hold on.
About 40 minutes.
I got a Hot Wheel car of kit.
I recorded your voices perfectly, but mine not.
Yeah, you're running into the same bullshit I have here.
Hey, speaking of the 80s, guess what I got a Hot Wheels car of?
Back to the Future DeLorean.
That and kit.
That's right.
Yep.
I wish I had.
Yeah, well, what I was going to get into at the Star Trek is when Paramount killed Star Trek, they offered Gene Roddenberry, he could have owned Star Trek right out for less than the cost of an episode. It would have been his, he would have had complete and total control of it. And I just wonder if Star Trek would have ever been reborn, because like what you're talking about with Star Trek the Motion Picture. Because it's like, well, Gene Roddenberry was great. Gene Roddenberry's true envisioning, why it does great in books, doesn't really fit the cinematic experience.
Well, actually, it really wasn't him that was going through the whole reimagining of Star Trek.
Well, I swear they were making fun of that in Deep Space Nine with the Paul Wraith visions.
Actually, Next Generation was what Gene Roddenberry really wanted out of Star Trek. In the first.
Yeah, he wanted to touch. Well, and Next Generation was the rest of his scripts. Yeah. When they started it, those first 2 seasons were the rest of the original Star Trek scripts.
Yeah, some of them were not too good.
Yeah. Hi, we're gonna go look at the naked again. Okay. Are you making tweaks, Bit?
Yeah, you sure am.
Okay.
I hate Twitter.
Why?
I don't know. I just don't care for something that says type in all the things you're doing in your life, moment by moment by moment.
Well, it's good. It's a good way for people to contribute content and stuff.
Okay, hold on a second. Here, hold on, let me test this audio. I gotta mute you.
Bit loves Twitter.
I do like it.
Well, no, but the difference is Bit actually tweets relevant information. It's and he doesn't like tweet every little thing he does. He's like, oh, I found something interesting that you all may like. Let me tweet it. Which means he goes days between tweets at times. As opposed to people who are like, I am tying my shoes. My dog threw up. I have coughed. I sneezed when I looked at the sun. So I'm like, you know what? That's not interesting. Shut up.
Yeah. At least it wasn't that.
I mean, there are some people who are good enough at it they can make anything they tweet interesting, and they can do it a dozen times a day. But I'm sorry, that's not most people.
Man, they got special links for Twitter now to shorten out links like tiny URL.
Actually, those have largely
That's
become...
been around for a while.
Yeah, those aren't anything new, and they're largely become obsolete. The Bitly and tiny URL links are, now that Twitter allows URLs...
Yeah, it kind of does it on its own, doesn't it?
Yeah, you don't even really need that anymore. They were basically built to deal with the character cap thing, because how do you fit a URL that's longer than 140 characters into a 140 character cap? But that's now doesn't count, and it's not done anymore, so yeah, you don't need any of those anymore. And I'm kind of glad to see those die, because at least now I know what I'm fucking clicking on.
Yeah.
Hi, go to this thing that's not this. Wait a minute, that's not that thing.
Just a second.
Yeah, about that whole Mass Effect 3.
I knew that was going to happen.
The ending isn't the real ending. They planned on making it more like a dream sequence, from what I understand. And that they were going to give it the real ending through download content when you had to pay for it. And they're not the only company that did this.
Oh, God. Yeah, except I don't think they expected all the fans to be that bitchy about it.
Well, the first time it was tested out where you buy a game and then you get the real ending to the game was, what was it? Remember that one game where you were like, if you screw up, time would reverse itself? Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
But they did a remake. But the thing about the remake was they had a false ending at the end. But to get the real ending, you had to DLC it and pay extra.
Yeah, not doing that.
And now, and not only that, the latest Final Fantasy game, something 2.
Now, whatever the prime number is this time.
Yeah, number 2, the sequel, they didn't even put the ending on there. You have to get it through DLC as well. In fact, a whole lot of game developing companies are thinking about you paying extra for the ending of the games, and a lot of customers are pissed.
Well, you know what? If they adopt that model, then I'm just going to accept the fake ending as the ending of the game. And then I'll never buy the sequels because it won't match the timeline. That'll backfire on them if they do that.
Well, they've done it 3 times in 3 different games.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to the PAX panel, so that'll be interesting to see.
You know, the only one that I've seen in which that makes any sense whatsoever is the way Half-Life did the episodic stuff, where you have the time council guys in there basically going, wait a minute, this isn't the ending we want, this is how we continue our chapter.
Yeah, you know what's even more funnier? There's DLC in the iOS devices and Androids. But the iOS requires you make those DLCs free.
You're telling me I have to thank Apple?
Yeah. Apple basically says, we're not for even worse. Really do that.
I was gonna say, we're the only ones that can do that. We're Apple.
Yeah. If they're gonna get Shinola and rammed up the tailpipe, it's gonna be because we said so.
But all the DLCs for like Infinity Blade 2 is not done yet, but yet and they have to make all that shit free for their customers. Because it becomes part of the basic download, the update service.
Okay, hang on a minute. I'm gonna put a hash in here.